Greetings to SCORE mentors, and welcome to this helpful hints narration of the Entrepreneur Index Assessment. These helpful hints are primarily focused toward your one-on-one sessions with entrepreneurs. My name is Adam Drost, and I am the president and co-founder of eCareerFit.com, the developer of the Entrepreneur Index Assessment. Throughout this narration, we will be offering helpful hints and informational highlights related to several areas, including meeting locations, the Entrepreneurial Index profile itself, suggestions for open-ended questions, who can benefit from the EI and how was it developed, suggestions for each dimension, who is our eCareerFit.com, and next steps and action plans that should be the completion for any one-on-one mentor session. Whether you're having a face-to-face meeting or a phone meeting, it's important to request permission to view the feedback reports of each of the entrepreneurs. There's nothing excessively confidential about the information, but I think just we should respect their privacy and ask permission, and it's almost 99% agreed to by each of the participants. The other thing, if you are having a phone meeting, it's important to know that the mentor and the entrepreneur can simultaneously view the reports online. This is a very convenient way to discuss and mutually review the report. As a SCORE mentor, you know that no two entrepreneurs are the same, and that would hold true for our Entrepreneurial Index results as well. No two reports are the same. That gives us a very exciting opportunity to use this tool to help facilitate discussions for the specific and unique needs for each entrepreneur. As you look at this report, please keep in mind that the scoring has been normed and calibrated for successful and satisfied entrepreneurs with 5+ years of experience. Some people might say, oh, well, I'm more optimistic than average, and that is probably very true if this was scored against the general work population. However, it would be good to remind them at that point that they are being scored against successful and satisfied entrepreneurs that have been in business for 5+ years. So to be average within that group is not necessarily a bad position to be in. The other thing that we'd want to mention in this particular slide is that as you see the scores or the boxes go more to the right on the high side, that certainly describes a greater strength that someone would want to maximize. If you see the boxes go more to the left, it's an area of development, and certainly SCORE programs and the mentor can help look for adaptive ways to accommodate for those types of weaknesses. A point on the predictive personal satisfaction and predicted potential for success is that those scores are derived by a proprietary weighted scoring model developed by eCareerFit. It is not from a one-to-one relationship of the 12 dimensions above. As you begin the discussions with the entrepreneur, it's important to keep the 80-20 rule in mind, where the entrepreneur is doing 80% of the talking. Asking open-ended questions like the ones we have here as suggestions are helpful in getting that started. Overall, though, we find that the participant or the entrepreneur is very willing to openly discuss their report and openly discuss their thoughts about it. But sometimes just to generate that discussion, you'd ask something like, overall, how does this report describe you? Or what insights about yourself were you able to draw from the feedback? I particularly like the one where which 3 dimensions tell the most about who you are. It kind of gets an idea of focusing on which ones they like and which ones are their strengths and how they feel about themselves. Another good question is any surprises or aha moments while reading the report. And also, did any of the results seem to miss the mark, and if so, which ones? And some of that may be the scoring, the modular scoring that we have against the successful and satisfied entrepreneur situation, or it could be just something that they were looking a little differently at the answers to some questions, or it could be a blind spot. for that individual. So in general, you don't want to spend a lot of time discussing something they think's off the mark if it's only one item, and spend your time focusing 80% on the strengths that they identify by themselves as strengths, and about 20% of the time discussing weaker areas and how you might develop those. There are three major groups who can benefit from the Entrepreneur Index. The first group are those exploring the possibility of becoming an entrepreneur, and that's approximately 60% of the SCORE participants. The second group are the existing entrepreneurs who are at some type of crossroads in their growth and development. And the third would be corporate entrepreneurs, typically individuals in new product development or new market expansion opportunities. The following 4 slides is the story about how the Entrepreneurial Index Assessment was developed. Each of the leaders within eCareer Fit have extensive experience in career development, entrepreneurial business development. During the first quarter of 2002, one of our large global customers came to us with a particular need, and probably the best way to expand your business is to meet the needs or exceed the needs of your clients. So they explained to us that approximately 25% of those individuals that they see in career development or career transition would seriously look at the option to explore an entrepreneurial venture. But they had no tool, and they couldn't find any tool to help them understand if this fit the individual's characteristics or if they might do well within that particular environment. And so they asked if we could help. As we looked at this, we had a secondary hypothesis where we thought that virtually all individuals at some point in time in their career at least think about or dream about becoming an entrepreneur. Therefore, the use of a particular product like this could be even more universal. As we researched the market, we also found almost nothing that was scientifically developed that would be reliable or valid to identify the traits for a successful and satisfied entrepreneur. The research that we did find focused primarily on individuals who started a business. And although that's not necessarily a bad situation, we also know and have seen that 80% of entrepreneurial startups fail within the first 5 years. So we felt that the more important and better value for a user of an entrepreneurial index assessment would be investigating traits and characteristics of successful and satisfied entrepreneurs who had been in business for 5+ years. With this in mind, we embarked on an intensive 30-month development project. We started with 26 dimensions that led us to the 12 most highly correlated dimensions for highly successful and satisfied entrepreneurs. To give you an idea of the type of dimension that didn't make the cut, the 14, most people are aware of the introvert, extrovert type dimension used in many different tools. However, when we looked at the correlation, introvert, extrovert had nothing to do with the success and satisfaction of an entrepreneur. Therefore, that didn't make the cut. Neither did many other dimensions that we looked at and are used generally in the marketplace. We identified over 300 entrepreneur small business owners who had been in business for 5+ years and met the requirements for success and satisfaction. We actually started with 1,000 to finally come down to 300. A typical research project will use 100 to 120, but because this was brand new in the marketplace and there was nothing to base it or have a baseline, we actually tripled the amount of people that we used to develop the product. Success was measured as at least 3 of the last 5 years showing sales, profit, or personal income increase of 10% or more. Satisfaction was measured by a personal rating on 26-item questionnaire for career and life satisfaction. We employed the most stringent psychometric methods for determining the correlations for reliability and validity of our traits. We built a global internet delivery model for the Entrepreneurial Index Assessment and individualized feedback reports, and finally launched the product in August of 2004 and translated it to Canadian French in 2006. And we look forward to our next translation as demand requires. We at eCareerFit are proud to have developed the first and best Entrepreneur Index tool in the marketplace. It is easy to use, easy to understand, yet robust in content and value. The next several slides go into detail about each of the dimensions. Overall, each of the slides kind of offers a double win for SCORE mentors and the team, as well as your participant and clients. By that I mean, if it is a strength for the person, the SCORE mentor can find ways in which they can use that strength more effectively, perhaps differently, to grow their business more quickly. If it's a weaker area, the SCORE mentor can help the client look for ways to accommodate for that weakness, or look for ways for them to hire or contract or partner with other organizations to help backfill that weakness and grow their business more effectively. On this first one, optimism, it's almost hard to believe that someone could be in the entrepreneurial environment and not be optimistic about their business and themselves and the opportunity that's in front of them. Emotional resilience is one of our most highly correlated trait. It's it's one of these situations where it's difficult for a person to be successful as an entrepreneur if they cannot adjust to difficult, stressful situations and rebound relatively quickly. Self-determination is another very, very highly correlated characteristics to successful and satisfied entrepreneurs. There was a lot of discussion on this particular dimension in the pilot workshops, and I think that's primarily because there's a wide variance of thought about what luck, fate, karma, outside influences have on the success of a business. But in many ways, the self-determination factor is that no matter what may come your way, you will find a way you're self-determined to find a way to move forward and accomplish your goal. So I've got another slide here I think that will help give a more specific description of what self-determination is. A good expression of self-determination is by William Ernest Henley, when he said, "I am the master of my fate and I am the captain of my soul." That means a person will take actions to determine their own fate and that they have a moral compass as they take those actions. The social networking characteristic is an excellent example of how SCORE can help both the stronger and the weaker side of this characteristic. If someone is strong in this characteristic, SCORE can certainly offer additional or new avenues for networking to promote and develop their business. But if it's weaker in this area, SCORE can also help the individual find, hire, contract, or partner other areas that can help them perform this particular function in their business. The self-promotion characteristic is obviously selling the product directly to another person or business. And if someone is strong in this area, SCORE again can help them be more effective and find new avenues in selling their product and service. But if they're weaker, again, SCORE can help find other areas for them to contract or partner to help them deliver their service and product to the marketplace to boost revenue. Having a strong competitive nature is important to the success of an entrepreneurial business, But if this area is a little weaker for someone, the SCORE mentor can be a great resource to help them sit down and look at the competitive advantages and disadvantages of their product and services in the marketplace, and help suggest and look for other ways to increase their advantages so that they can be more effective and increase their revenue and opportunities in the marketplace. Goal setting is certainly very important on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to keep the business moving forward. But if someone is a little weaker in this area, many workshops can accommodate that. And I've added an additional slide for the SMART characteristics for helping in goal setting in case you need it, and that's on the next slide. The SMART approach to goal setting is something that's relatively common in the marketplace, but there might be some people in the workshop who have not seen it, and this slide could be helpful to them. Work drive is the one characteristic that SCORE may not be able to help with. If someone has a strong work drive, that's great, and they can move forward with that energy. But if they don't, I'm not sure there's much that could be done other than suggesting a healthy diet and good exercise program to boost energy. But kind of like hard work is important for a successful entrepreneur, but if it's not there, not sure we can do much about it. With SCORE's extensive resources for business financial planning, the mentors and the SCORE team have an excellent opportunity to assist any of the individual, no matter where they land on this particular scale, high or low. Adaptability is a critical trait for a successful entrepreneur. Someone who can adapt quickly and improvise quickly depending upon what changes come at them in the marketplace. I've added a slide behind this one. I think that could open up a lot of good discussion with the group, especially with some of the experienced entrepreneurs concerning adaptability. As the caption says, the path to success is never a straight line. Certainly this is a little bit of an extreme, but you could have some fun with this chart, or maybe asking some of the experienced entrepreneurs in the audience if this looks like their business at times, and or if they have a business plan that can adapt to this type of a growth pattern. Again, it's a fun way to perhaps get a good discussion going on adaptability and the changes and the ups and the downs in the entrepreneurial business environment. Autonomy is the one characteristic that is very closely tied to both success and satisfaction for an entrepreneur. The desire to be independent and to be your own boss is almost core to all those who are looking at getting into an entrepreneurial venture. If for some reason they are a little lower on this particular scale, it's important to have the right partners and the right organizations to work with. And I think the SCORE mentor can help identify that and help the person if they're scoring a little lower in this particular area. Almost all entrepreneurs say they want to be their own boss, but in many ways what they're saying is they want to be the CEO of their own time. Persistence is a very important characteristics for the entire entrepreneurial venture, and often it comes into play with projects that are come up within the business. If there's multiple projects going on, usually the entrepreneur wants to get all of the projects done and be involved with all of them all at one time, which is not a good way to work. A SCORE mentor can help evaluate this type of process to determine which are the most core projects to pursue most effectively, and which ones might be best for back burner, and even which ones might be best to abandon altogether as far as the business is concerned. So I think, again, the SCORE mentors bring a lot to bear for the opportunity to help a person in their persistence in identifying the best things and the best use of their time in driving things forward. You may or may not be asked who is ecareerfit.com during your one-on-one session. But if you are, here's a few facts to share. We are an entrepreneurial company that develops, markets, and delivers internet-based career fit assessments and personalized feedback reports. We were founded with the mission and the passion to make a meaningful difference in people's lives by helping them understand their enduring personal operating strengths and values and how to apply those strengths and values to the world of work. Every person we have met who is associated with SCORE has demonstrated the common passion of making a meaningful difference in people's lives. So we are very proud to have the opportunity to share our Entrepreneurial Index Assessment with an organization like SCORE that shares that core passion and mission in what we do every day. ecareerfit.com was incorporated on February 7th, 2001. We were totally built on sweat equity. We use no venture capital and today still have no debt. Each member of our team had very extensive successful experience in our 4 core competencies, which are psychometrics, industrial and organizational psychology, entrepreneurial business development, and internet technology. We started with 1 assessment in 1 language and have grown to having 9 assessments in 9 languages and have been distributed in over 30 countries. Over 1 million people globally have benefited from our eCareerFit assessments. About 150,000 of those have been the Entrepreneur Index. And we are again very proud to have the opportunity to become a value-added product within your SCORE programs and services. Thank you very much. We know that every entrepreneur is different, and that every one of these Entrepreneur Index one-on-one sessions will be different. And the length of time to accomplish the session can be quite variable, anywhere from 15 minutes to perhaps an hour in length. But we would suggest that at the completion of the session, that you mutually agree with the entrepreneur to a plan of 1, 2, or 3 actions that would help them capitalize or maximize their strengths and or address challenges faced by their weaknesses. Wish you the best in your Entrepreneurial Index one-on-one sessions, and if you should have any questions, please do not hesitate to give me a call and I'll be happy to help. Thank you.